Yes, click got it. We got it. Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. Um, Welcome to our monthly mastermind. And this is definitely an awesome topic. Some will say that and we're going to have fun with this, Christina and Drake. Some say that this topic is a recession proof, it's a uh, pandemic proof, it's a inflation proof. I don't know, but let's find out, right? Or market crash proof, whatever that might look like. But super excited to talk about this topic with some awesome people, smart, driven, successful, and willing to be here to share with us their kind of juice of success, right? So start with while you sip in that water. Christina Blue, start with you. Give us some background about you.
Okay. Hi, guys. Thanks so much. I'm excited to be here. As we get started, I will say that if you have your camera turned off, please turn it on. It's very difficult to do these things with just little black boxes with names. So let's make this interactive. So yes, my name is Christina Blue. I've been in the business for just over 10 years. I started off in the development side. So we would acquire, thank you, Isaac. We would acquire teardowns in the beach cities and build 2-in-1 lots. So that was my first experience in real estate. So I got to learn how to build houses or how to do real estate from the ground up. And I've been with Keller Williams for the past, I would say, 8 years. And yeah, most of my business, just on this topic, 85% of my business comes from my sphere.
That's amazing. And that's why you're here, to share the good stuff with us. Right, and Christina, you have your own team, right? You're part of a team.
We do. Yes. So we are the Who in Blue Real Estate Group, and we have been a team for the past 1.5 years, and it's awesome. I love my team. If you guys are looking to join a team, call me. We are hiring.
Awesome. Thank you, Christina Blue, and Drake Cruz is in the house. Drake.
Yes, sir. So hi everybody, I'm Drake, and I've been licensed for 22 years, year 2000. Believe it or not, I was a child therapist when I got licensed, and I actually worked part-time at a little mom and pop restaurant, and so I knew everybody in Long Beach, and I knew a lot of realtors, and they said, you know what, you would be good at real estate. I said, what? They go, you just have this natural way of talking to people that just puts them at ease. You're charismatic, that's debatable. And just, you should look into it. So the very next day in the newspaper, because newspapers were still around back then, there was a little article that said, get your license for $99. I'm like, huh. So I did it. And the very next day, the front page of the paper was Long Beach housing boom. So I took that as a sign. Yes, you made the right decision. I'll never forget that. It was like, seriously? Yeah, it was great.
Good story in a nutshell, huh?
Yep.
And you also specialize, well, first of all, how much of your business is sphere related, roughly, if you had to guess?
Probably like 90%. Yeah, it's almost unusual that I get a cold lead. It's like, wow, it's someone I have no idea who they are. It's almost strange. That's how much business comes from my sphere.
So, and again, feel free to, unmute yourself, right, Christina, Drake, and just jump into conversation. Feel free to ask questions one another, so we can have a nice conversations over here. For those who are newer, or maybe people that have been doing this for quite some time but not sure how to even define a sphere, right? So define what sphere is to you, and then when did you figure out, you know what, I need to work my sphere versus other sources?
Well, gosh, you hear over and over again that the money is in your database all the time. And that hasn't changed in 22 years. So your sphere of influence is basically, and I think Christina and everybody here will agree, anybody that you meet, that you have a conversation with, has the opportunity to be in your sphere. You just have to invite them in. It's kind of simple. And there's numerous ways to do that, which I'm sure that we'll both be sharing shortly. So don't discount anybody, because we've all heard the saying that it's not who I know, it's who they know. So I try and get every person that I meet, that I have friended, I try to get them to become advocates for me.
I like how Drake said advocate. So I define my sphere as people that know, like, and trust me. And just taking it a step further, like Drake said, it's not just people who know, like, and trust me, but people are going to be my advocate. I like to say my cheerleaders, my fans, right? So when they're at the barbecue and their friends say, hey, I want to buy or sell, real estate, these are the people who say, call Christina Blue.
Yeah. When did you figure out that sphere is your main niche, your main source to go and build your business around them?
So I started off door knocking, and I know my conversion ratio. I knocked on 1,173 doors. I got 3 leads and 0 transactions, and I hated door knocking. But I thought that that's just what you do. And I stopped and analyzed my business and realized my business was coming from social media, which in my age group, I'm on like this cusp. And so I still thought that social media was weird, and why do I have to take a picture of my food and then you want to see it? Like, it doesn't really quite make sense to me. I'm not a millennial where that's like normal and natural, So, so I was confused as to why my business was coming from social media, and really analyzing and realizing these are my sphere. This is the people that know, like, and trust me already. They're the ones referring me business. And I traced it down because I realized I thought my business was referral based. But when we say referral based, where did that come from? It came from my sphere. So I don't say my business is referrals. I say it's sphere, because anyone who comes and contacts me, I connect with them, and I don't want to say I make them, but I connect with them, and then they become my fans. They become in my inner circle, my sphere. So my inner circle just continues to grow. But that's how I realized, oh, dang, my business is coming from my sphere. I've got to buckle down on this and figure out how to wrap a lead gen activity around this.
I couldn't agree more. And I think that's one of the reasons why I absolutely loved open houses, because if I got in front of a person, probably just like you, I haven't met you, Christina, but you sound charismatic, and you're not threatening. You're a real person. And I didn't realize that was my strength at first. But then people just kept telling me, you're good at this, you're good at this. And open houses was my thing, because if I could get in front of a person and have a conversation and disarm them from me trying to sell them, and I'm a terrible salesperson, I was in, and now they're in my sphere.
So if I'm a new agent or seasoned even, and I don't really work my sphere, and I'm gonna meet you one-on-one, like right now, and I'm gonna ask you, hey, what's the best first step or steps to start reaching out to my sphere, people that are close to me? How would I go about that? What would you tell me?
I can start that. So the first thing, if you are a new agent, I would strongly suggest using the script of calling your friends, everybody in your phone, and saying, hey guys, I just joined Keller Williams. I'm super excited about it. I'm a realtor. If you know anybody that I can help, let me know. That's a huge script. That when I first joined Keller Williams, it yielded zero leads. And then a few months later, people started calling me, right? Remembering from that one conversation that we had, I put them in my database. So that would be a huge thing. It's probably a little weird if you've already been in business for a while. You're like, hey, just so you know, I'm a realtor. So I think maybe Drake has different ideas, but for me, because most of my business comes from social media and that's how I'm reaching out with my sphere, I would say start posting online, start showing people that this is what you do. You have to change the image. Whoever you are, you're their neighbor. They don't think of you as also what you do for a living. Think of when you're, you know, you need a plumber. Do you actually think of the plumber that's your friend? Because you think of your friend as just Steve, that's my friend. Oh, let me call a plumber. How do you transfer that, your name, to actually real estate, right? That's really hard to do, and you have to stay consistent. It took me a while because I was just Christina Blue, your neighbor, Christina Blue, your friend, Christina Blue, this, that, whatever you did in the past. So it's really hard to transfer that. My own mom used somebody else, you guys. That's my horror story, because in her eyes, I was just her daughter. But when she wants to sell her house or buy, like, who is she going to use, right? A realtor. And so I would say being really super consistent on social media, still being real. I teach a whole social media class, which I'll be teaching soon, but being real about yourself and your life, but also sprinkling in, this is what I do for a living. This is what I do every day, day in and day out. Also, when you're at the barbecue, you know, with your friends, building that relationship, talking about real estate, talking about what's most important to you, right? So you're a realtor and you love it, and your hand, you know, this is what you do every day. So when someone's asking you, how you doing, talk about real estate so that they can start shifting their mind for just neighbor to, or friend to realtor.
Yes. You made so many points I want to comment on. I've got the bold laws right here next to me, and I harp on this all the time. When you go to bold and you learn the bold laws, this is not a cliche, this becomes part of your life. And the one that I wanted to comment Christina on is, people will grow into the conversations that you create around them, okay? They will get used to it. So even though it might be slightly awkward, all that means is that you need to figure out how to talk about it in a more natural way. You know, I'm always talking about coming from contribution all the time. And that's not even just in real estate. This is just in life in general. So if you look at these, there are so many of these that you can use every single day in life. Right, Christina?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, and you know, I love the fact that you're basically what you're saying, just put yourself out there, right? You don't have to shy away from who you are, and I love that. And I think that what people don't understand is, actually, I mean, nothing comes easy, but starting with your sphere, with your the closest circle, should be less intimidating than dealing with the unknown, right?
Yeah, they already know you, they already like you, and all you have to do is talk about things that you've done. Oh my gosh, I went to this physical inspection today, and you won't believe some of the things that I saw. It's conversation. It's passive aggressive. It's still talking about real estate, but not saying, hey, don't forget I'm a realtor. So just talking about everyday things that you do. Oh my gosh, I was previewing properties today. You should have seen the paint scheme, or you should have seen this wallpaper. And I tell all of my mentees that when they're out there previewing property, they need to document these things. One of my last listings that I just had, it had wallpaper from the 60s that was still perfectly intact, but the pattern on it was like, I felt like I was at Knott's Berry Farm. So I just took a picture of that, and that's what I posted. I said, if you want to come see this wallpaper, come see the house that's with it. I mean, it's just, you have to be creative. And for some people, it's not natural, but if you just keep trying, if you just open your eyes and just be aware of what's around you, you will find something. It might be, okay, I was previewing a property today, and I use that example because that's what mentees should be doing. They need to be previewing property. You know, take a picture of this marble countertop, take a picture of this granite countertop, talk about it. Ask your followers, what kind of countertop do you prefer? In the back, you know, the roundabout way is you're still letting them know that you're in real estate, but you're talking about more tangible things. it's going to create interest. Hopefully it'll create conversation. It will create conversation eventually.
I like that. Yeah, just being natural and working it into the conversation. The last thing you want to do, and probably part of your fear, is coming across salesy. Like, oh no, our friend's the realtor. I don't want to. It's like when you have a friend that like sells Mary Kay or something. Like you don't want to say anything about makeup around them because they're just going to pounce on you.
Yeah.
And so talking about it in your day-to-day life, you're not saying at the barbecue, hey, pass me a hot dog. And also, who do you know that wants to buy, sell, or invest? You're saying, pass me a hot dog. Oh my gosh, by the way, let me just tell you about this crazy house that I saw. It's so funny. What a great story. And you're talking about your day in a really open, exciting way. And remember that we have a really cool job, you guys. People are really interested. There's TV shows about our job, right? Like we have a really interesting, cool job that people want to know about. So if they feel like you're not going to be pushy and salesy, they're going to want to ask you about your job. And through those conversations, like Drake said, you're having intentional, strategic conversations, right? You're being real and authentic, but strategic. Okay. Be prepared when you're going to the barbecue. The other thing too, is that, we said people do business with people they know, like, and trust. How do we get them to trust you in the real estate business? You have to be the knowledge broker. You have to know what you're talking about. So my tip to anybody, seasoned or brand new, it doesn't matter. I still do this to this day. If you invite me over to your house for a barbecue, I run a CMA on your house. I'm prepared. I know what houses are in the neighborhood, wherever I am, because let me tell you, once you start opening the door and start telling your friends, this is what I do, you're going to go to a barbecue in a random neighborhood. I have done this so many times where my friends say, that house down the way, what did it sell for? I'm like, I don't have like a Rolodex in my head of this stuff. Like, what the heck? But because I'm putting myself out there saying that I know this stuff, and they just think that us agents know everything, right? What do you think my house would go for? I mean, literally at church last week, someone pulled me aside and was like, hey, I've got a, 5-bedroom house in Redondo. What do you think it would go for? I'm like, what the heck? It's like, I need a little bit more information. Okay. Than whatever that was. Okay. No. Just tell me, what do you think? I'm like, oh man. So do your research. So before you go to that barbecue, before you go to your friend's house, do research on that neighborhood so that you can talk about it. You can say, oh yeah, actually I did see that one online. They had those one kind of carpets. You don't have that though. So what do you think about that? And having this conversation, it's like, dang, now it's friend turn realtor. Right. So now they trust you when it comes to real estate, and they want to use you or, push your name out there.
Yeah. Awesome stuff, guys. So many points. I love the fact that you said that, there's a TV show about realtors, right? I maybe there's one about plumbers or home inspectors. I haven't seen those though. So for sure,
they're on our show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Make your own show, right? So, both of you touched the piece of the social media, and I don't really think there's a place today to shy away from social media, right? So, and both of you, by the way, are very creative and very consistent with what you do on those platforms. Share with us, if you don't mind, what are your leading platforms? And do you have a system? Do you just wing it, or do you have some kind of way to go about that?
I use social media it's ever changing. It's never the same. It's kind of like the Facebook algorithm. You learn it, and then a month later it changes. So what we do is constantly changing. But I use Facebook and Instagram to basically spy into my clients' lives. And then I mentioned this last night. So what I try to do is, on a personal note, is people are posting things that are important to them. So when I find something that resonates with me, and sometimes that might not even resonate with me, but I know that it's resonating with my client, I'm going to pull their picture, I'm going to turn it into some sort of keepsake, and I'm going to send it to them. So like last night, I was talking about an app that I use called TouchNote, which I absolutely love. So I can pull the picture off of it, turn it into a postcard, send it to them, and I know that that postcard is going to sit on their mantle or on their shelf for months, if not years. Because people don't, the way that we handle pictures, is completely different nowadays. I mean, we used to use film. I know that people like Michael Wanger, and I don't know the ages of anybody else, but they don't know what film is. They don't know what photo hut is. But you know, it's such an instantaneous thing that we're used to now, that people aren't used to something tangible, because people don't get them printed unless they go to Costco. And that's usually just for the holidays. So I try to use that a lot. And the comments and the feedback that I get, 110%, oh my God, thank you for thinking of me. So yes, I'm spying on them, but I don't think that it comes across as spying. It's like, you know what, this really touched me. I just wanted you to have that front and center all the time.
Cool. So on our team, we do the D2D2 on social media. So we're contacting everybody several times a year. We have all of our friends on friends lists. And that's super important. It may take you a while. I have over 4,000 people that I'm connected to. And so it takes a while, but putting them all on lists, and then you can make sure you're hitting everyone. That's for Facebook. So we use Facebook and Instagram. My personal sphere is more on Facebook, and I think my business partner Jackie's is more on Instagram, but we're hitting them from both ends. So that's one of the things that we do. The other thing is, again, just posting consistently. That's really important, and taking a look at your profile or your grid, whichever platform you're on, and looking at it from, you know, somebody else just hopping on your social media platform. What does it say about you? What does it say about you, and how can it connect with you? So if it's just a whole bunch of real estate, you're going to actually lose your sphere, right? So it can go the opposite way. If it's a whole bunch of personal stuff, then they just see you as the personal friend and they don't see you as social media. So there's a lot of people that say do the 80-10 rule. Have you guys all heard about that? Like 80% personal and or 80-20 and 20% business. Have you guys heard of that? Mm-hmm. Yes. I say no. I say your top three things. Your top three things, post consistently about them. Your top three things. So my top three things is I'm a Christian. I love God. I go to church. You know, that's my one thing. My second is I'm a family girl. I love my husband. I have 2 beautiful daughters. My third is I'm in real estate and I love my career. So those are the 3 things that if you met me at a barbecue, they would naturally come up, just naturally. I would talk to you about God. I talk to you about my family, and I talk to you about real estate, right? So on my pages, my platforms, that's what you're going to see. You're not going to see posts about me all of a sudden fishing and all these other things. You're going to see them that all have to do with family, God, or business. So staying consistent. So, and doing a check on your pages. So I just recently went on and go, oh shoot, on my Facebook page, there's just been a whole bunch of real estate and not enough personal. So I'm like, oh man, I got to pump it up, right? And so I'm constantly checking out on my platforms to see where I'm at. Same thing with my stories, you know, making sure that it's all of it. It's who I am as a person, because then it means that people who know me in an authentic situation, they know me privately, they see me online and on social media, and they connect with me, and they know that I'm a real person. And that's who I really am. That also will help people to know, like, and trust me, right? And use me in real estate, because they know that I'm still the same girl. I'm not putting across a different persona on social media. You know.
Yeah, so it's a very purposeful platform that you utilize, and not just by, you know, there's no, you know, coincidence, right? It's designed to engage your sphere in the world, to share who you are, what you do, and how you connect with them as well in different ways. Yeah. And can you just explain the D2D2? Those, like, you know, don't know about Star Wars.
Yeah, so it's R2. It's the Keller Williams. I always say it wrong. It's database to. Help me out, Meny.
I'm not sure myself.
Database to. Gosh, Jackie, you're on here. Unmute yourself and help me. I always say
database to dials.
Database to dials.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dials to database.
Dials to database. Okay. So that's my business partner, Jackie, the Who of the Who and Blue Real Estate Group. So that's contacting so D2D2, you're going through the alphabet. So Keller Williams has the letters for you, like this week is whatever, R and L. And so you want to hit all of your R and Ls this week. So that's in your phone, that's in your database, whatever, that's your R and Ls, and you're calling them with a script, checking in, whatever your team or your, whatever your plan is for that week, but you're talking to them, you're touching base with them and having real estate conversations, or at least connecting with them. So we've taken it a step farther, and now we do that to our social media platforms as well. So we're reaching out to our friends and sphere on social media as well with the D2D2. So whatever letters this week is, boom, we're talking to them. We're making sure. So what that looks like on social media is we're actually going on their profiles, seeing what's new in their life, messaging them, just really connecting with them. It's a different platform. So we're not sending a private message saying, who do you know that wants to buy, sell, or invest, right? We're just connecting with them, and we're reminding them that we're here. And if you have a strong enough platform or strong enough presence on your social media, when they see a message for you, they're going to, oh man, how's Christina doing? They're going to click on my page and they're going to see, oh, she's in real estate, right? Without me having to push it, they're going to see that. So it's important for you to make sure that at all times, doing kind of a, search on your page and making sure that you're presenting yourself. The last 4 or 5 posts really need to be the top 3 things that are important in your life. And one of those hopefully should be real estate.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it's a great system for sure.
Yeah.
And that's also a reason why you want to even expand even more your social media following, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which in Facebook, it's capped to 5,000 in your personal, but there's no limitation on business page, Facebook, and of course, Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and really bringing it, social media, social media, it's easy to connect with people on social media from an arm's length, right? But where the business comes from is bringing them out of the computer and into a real life, right? That's where the relationship comes from. That's where the business comes from, as opposed to just faces on a screen, bringing it out. So how can you contribute to their life? How can you encourage them with what they're going through in their life or whatever, so that you can actually bring that relationship out and say, hey, let's meet for coffee. That's when it's a win, when you can pull it out. So it's kind of easy to get followers on social media if you just have good content and people are interested in what you have to say. But how do you become a real person in front of them? Right? So it's a give and take. So real people that you have in your life, you want them to be on your social media platform, reminding them, boom, I'm in real estate. And then people that are following you that are not real people in your life, you want to pull them out of the computer and meet with them for coffee, hang out with them, invite them over, start to get a relationship with them.
I was going to mention that my system, unfortunately, is a little bit more archaic. I actually have some spreadsheets. And it's time locked in my calendar that for an hour on Tuesday, it's texting Tuesday. And I actually text out personalized texts to, a segment. And every week it just goes down the list. So everybody is on a rotation. And I remember I was teaching a class one time, and one of the senior agents here, she goes, I don't get it. I said, well, you know what? I said, I'm gonna send you a text sometime in the very near future, and all I ask is that you reply and you tell me what you felt when I sent you that text, because I'm not gonna tell you anything else. She goes, okay, and she was clueless. So I'm at a client's house, and up above the fireplace there was a picture of Ireland, and it had all the crests from all the names of Irish people. And so I took a picture of it and I sent it to the agent here, who happens to be Irish. I just said, thinking of you. And then she texted me back, I got it. So it had nothing to do with real estate. Of course, she happened to be in real estate. But if you take just a simple thing like that and just send it to clients, again, it's how you make them feel. It has nothing to do with real estate directly, but indirectly, it's always just giving them a little prod. Hey, I'm still around. I'm a real person. So yeah, so I'm huge on the relationship, on the real relationship.
How cool, how powerful that is, Christina. You said it well earlier too, that you wake up every day and you purposefully thinking about other people, And yeah, what we do, we do for a living to produce money and success, etc. But if it's with people, through people, with others, it's so incredible because you're conditioned to think about whatever that is that will make that connection. Think about them, compliment them, make them feel special. That's just is so powerful.
Mm. Yeah.
Yep.
Did you? I assume that the answer is yes. And if you don't mind to share about that, whatever situation you might have. But in the past, I spoke to various agents that they went from call it the first layer of sphere to the second layer, which is like the sphere's sphere or the family of the sphere or etc. Did you? Are you going after that? Did you go after that? Like in a certain way, Christina?
Yes. So one of the big things is to make sure that you are appreciating your sphere whenever they do pass you along to someone else. So one of the things that we do is we always, when we get a referral, even if it's not something that's actually going to materialize, but just someone says, hey, I've got an uncle that, I'm going to pass on your information to you. We then go ahead and send you a thank you gift and just say, hey, thanks so much for trusting us with your family. A lot of times people wait till it closes, but whether it closes or not is irrelevant. The person thought of you, right? And it makes them feel warm and fuzzy inside. So that's one of the things. The other thing is making sure that you are the person that is referred. So let's say it's the family member, right? So one of the things in order to get to the family is you have to cross that other layer, which you're talking about layer of a sphere. I'm talking about the layer of the person who I'm mumbling. A lot of times I will hear from my mentees, my sphere isn't ready to buy. They don't have money to buy, right? But I always say their parents do, their cousins does, their neighbor does, okay? So you're trying to get through that layer. So I'm always available. Everyone in my sphere, no matter how big my business is, it doesn't matter. If you want to call me and talk to me about what's the best strategy to get a $2,000 lease, I'm going to take that call. Okay. If you want to have a buyer consultation with me because you have $5,000 saved and you're thinking you want to buy a $200,000 house, I'm going to take that meeting with you. I'm going to tell you it's not your time right now. Right. But I am going to give you my time and be authentic with you and treat you like a person. Right. As opposed to just, it's not my, this isn't going to happen, move on. So when I'm authentic and giving of my time to you and treat you like that and be that person that you feel comfortable coming to with quote unquote dumb questions, right? People always say, I kind of have a dumb real estate question, but can I come to you? Yes, you can. Absolutely. You need a plumber, you need whatever it is, come to me when it comes to real estate. So because of that, then when their mom, when their neighbor, whatever wants to buy or sell, they're going, hey, use this girl, Christina. Use this girl, Christina. And then when they send me that referral, then I'm then thanking them with gifts and whatnot.
That's awesome. Drake, are you purposefully going after sphere or just, whatever comes your way from your kind of the first layer, sort of speaking?
I focus mostly on that first layer, but I think I've been pretty successful in making that as genuine as possible. I do gifts too. My gifts right now happen to be mostly smoked meat because everybody loves to eat. So that's how I thank people. And it's when you sit down and you feed a family, trust me, the law of reciprocity is going to come back. And I can't tell you, that's why I can't keep weight off, is because people keep inviting me over for dinner. But it's the absolute best problem to have, is like, we want you to come over. And it's not usually just me, it's me with their family and people that I've not met because it's their aunt, it's their uncle, it's their cousin. Well, there's that next level that came to me completely organically just by being genuine. So yes, it's happening, but it's happening and I'm not even really intentionally going for that. I'm just trying to be as gentle as I possibly can, 1 degree away from me.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, on point. And thank you guys for asking questions on the chat. I see that, you know, Christina asked a couple of questions as well. Thank you for that. How do you go about shaking the tree? And what I mean by saying that is, you know, there's only much sphere that you have, right? And let's say, you know, let's talk today's terms as well, right? Interest rates just went up again last night, right? You know, it depends what kind of, you know, mortgage you take, but, you know, they can go even just above 6%. We don't, you know, inventory is very low. Buyer hesitant to purchase, whoever has the ability, sellers not sure if they want to sell right now, etc., etc., etc. We've been there before, different variations, right? How do you shake the tree? How do you get your buyers to be motivated to keep buying and sellers to be motivated to sell? And again, you're dealing with people who are closer to you, trust you, vice versa.
I talk about silver lining. I said the silver lining is it's knocked a lot of people out. I said, this is your opportunity now. I said, you know, instead of 25 offers on this house, you know, you might have 2 or 3 now. I said, now is a golden opportunity. So I don't talk about negative aspects because they're not helpful anyway. So I always just talk about this is a great opportunity. And if you look at the interest rates, you know, over the last 20, 25 years, guess what? We've had this interest rate before. And guess what? People bought and sold back then. I mean, the world didn't stop when interest rates were 6%, you know, 10 years ago. It was still thriving. So real estate is a long-term investment. The biggest hurdle is to get in. So yeah, so I don't talk about, you know, doom and gloom at 6%. It's irrelevant.
So for any consultation, what our team does is we keep dialing in and drilling deeper and deeper and deeper to find the motivation. What is that actual motivation? What you think is a motivation isn't. They want a 3-bedroom, they're in a 2, they want a 3. Why? Why is that important to you? You keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper. Once you find that motivation, it doesn't matter what's going on in the market, they need to buy or sell, right? Because that's the motivation. And that's what I continue to remind them, and to not make decisions out of fear. Right. So a lot of times, you know, that's what we're hearing right now. My clients, I mean, all week long, my phone has been blowing up with fear-based conversations. You know, we have a listing coming up that we're doing, you know, we're listing it, our whole listing plan, staging and pictures and everything. I get a call, oh my gosh, forget it all. Just come take pictures with your phone. Today, we got to get on the market, you know, and this panic and this fear. So that's a good thing. That's the opposite of what you're saying, right, Meny? They're wanting to move fast. But again, whatever their motivation is, so people who are saying maybe this isn't the time, well, what was your motivation? You're still pregnant. You're still giving, you know, having a baby in a month, right? Has that changed? No? Okay. And it's the same conversation I had when the pandemic hit. There are still people, no matter what is going on in the world, when the market crashed in 2008, people still needed to buy and sell. That those amount of people may be less, but people still need to buy and sell for whatever reason. They still have in their situation, in their lives, reasons to buy and sell. So therefore, how can we position ourselves to capitalize on this opportunity, right? Just like Drake said, instead of talking about, oh no, the negative, okay, well, if interest rates are 6% right now, that means it knocked out a lot of buyers. So let's go. Let's write more aggressive then, because now the sellers are going to be kind of freaking out. So let's take advantage of that. Awesome. To my sellers, yes, it's 6%. People still need to buy and sell. People still need to buy a house, right? If you're in a higher price point, like our listing coming up in Culver City, we're at a higher price point. So we're not talking about that 6% doesn't really, we're talking about jumbo loans. What does that look like? So number one, being the knowledge broker, making sure that you are staying up to date, right? Like I have conversations with my lender all day long about what's going on, you know, all day long. Yesterday before 11 o'clock when they were hitting that news, I'm like, okay, call me right away. Tell me what this looks like. So I have this information so then I can remain calm and make sure that, you know, if you are kind of freaking out and a little bit inside, I'm not going to lie, Drake, I was a little when stuff started hitting the fan a couple of days ago, and I'm getting, you know, sometimes your clients get freaked out and then you get like, okay. So it took me a second to go, no, we've seen this before. calm down. They're calling me and I need to remain calm and remind them of their motivation. That's my biggest thing. Remind them of their motivation, whether it's buying or selling, remind them of their motivation. We will make it happen. There are always people that need to buy and sell for other reasons.
Yeah, so on point. You know, because your sphere, I mean, any clientele, but especially your sphere, looking at you differently, not just like, you know, a random professional, a good professional that they hired, also a friend, someone they can trust. Maybe, I mean, in some cases, a family member, or as, you know, as close as a family member. So it has even more weight, right, to be a better fiduciary to a certain extent. Yeah. Before I'm gonna let you go, anything else that you wanna add that will, you know, add some value to the group that is watching us now and later?
Sure. I'd like to add, I hear from mentees, some people saying that they just don't have a big sphere. So what do you do, right? If that's your situation, maybe you're brand new, you just moved here and you don't have a big sphere. How do you gain a bigger sphere? So I want to encourage you to, like Drake said, even open houses, things like that. You can get clients that way. But how do you build your sphere? So wherever you live, you can always do like a neighborhood party. I actually just did that in my neighborhood. I had 5 different households over, and from those 5 households, didn't talk about real estate. Okay. Just 5 households. It came up in conversation, but I'm saying I just had them over in the backyard barbecue. We're chatting, whatever. From there, I already got a lead, right? So you can build your sphere. And from there, now I have their numbers. I'm I'm watering your garden while you're out of town, things like that. You can build your sphere wherever you're at. Okay. So it's about taking the people that are around you and bringing them in. How can you bring them in? Go outside, look around your house. How can you bring these people into your sphere? You have to be proactive to do that. Right. I'm going to be putting for, 4th of July, I'm going to be putting flags out on my street. So what am I going to do? I'm going to knock on the door and ask them and talk to them about it and have a little chit chat about them. Oh yeah. What are you doing for 4th of July? Great. So then the next time I see them in the neighborhood, hey, Steve, the next time after that, you coming to the barbecue? The next time after that, now they're in my inner circle. Right. So it's about really being strategic. So there really isn't any excuses. I have over 4,000 people in my social media database. Do you think those are all people that I just personally knew that happened organically? No, that's being intentional. That's being very, very intentional and bringing people closer. How do you bring them even closer? Bringing them into your world.
Yeah. And if you want to start small and inexpensive, take the opportunity to organize your neighborhood community garage sale. I'm telling you, it's so easy. So you do one lap to find interest. Like, hey, I want to have a community garage sale on this date. Do you have an interest? And then all of a sudden, all these people are contacting you. And guess what? They're your neighbor. Okay. And if you do this on a consistent basis, year after year, you're going to know everybody. And on the day, so I actually had signs made. So I put the signs out, a week in advance, to help drive traffic. And then the morning of the garage sale, I actually, if there's 12 houses, well, then I go buy 12 dozen boxes of donuts and you drop them off at each house. And then at each house, I'm also dropping off maps so that when people stop at that house, they know the other houses in the neighborhood that are having it. And it's all branded. I never say, hey, I'm a real estate agent, here's donuts. It's just there. And it actually accumulates every year. So it's inexpensive. It's a great way to be neighborly. And people love garage sales. They just do.
I love that. I love that, getting your neighbors involved. One of the things that I started moving to this new neighborhood is a neighborhood newsletter that I hand deliver once a month, and the topics on the newsletter. So that's common, right? Realtors always pass out, newsletters, but mine is neighborhood specific. So mine has a neighbor spotlight on it. So Steve, 3 doors down, we're spotlighting you, right? Thanks so much for putting out the oranges for the neighbors. That's real neighborhood specific. So then I hop on our group, our Facebook. We have a Facebook neighborhood watch group. And I say, hey guys, I'm preparing my next newsletter. Is there any neighbors that you want to spotlight? Right. So now, and then they're reaching out to me and contacting me. So that's how you're really building your sphere. You know, there's no excuses on like, oh, I don't know anybody. You can get to know people, join a sport and be the person that sends out the email, whatever, because guess what's on your bottom of your email? I'm a realtor. Okay. And the more and more you're connecting with them, and then you're saying, hey guys, let's do an after soccer game barbecue at my house. Now that's your sphere. You joined a sport, adult sport, and now you're on the email thing. So they're seeing your name. You're volunteering for the clerical part of it, which no one wants to do. You're volunteering for that. They're seeing that you're in real estate. And now you're bringing them closer and closer and closer by saying, hey, this is the last game of the year. Let's all hop over to my house and do a barbecue, or let's go grab drinks at whatever place, right?
Yeah. You know, everything is, first of all, thank you both for sharing so much insight and information from, I never take it for granted. This is not like a day or a month in business. It's years of experience and wisdom, right time on task. So thank you both. And whoever is listening now and later, you know, watch this over and over again and learn from what Christina was sharing, from what Drake was talking about as well. See how you can implement it today in your business, because again, market shifts all the time, right? So we always want to be prepared and have a bulletproof whatever mechanism. And there's nothing better than start with our own sphere. We have some control, which is our relationship, right? So Christina Blue over here, Drake Cruz over here. Thank you guys for your wisdom, for your sharing, and for being awesome as always. I appreciate you both.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, guys. That was awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Next one.